Hey, what is up guys, Tava here, and if you've ever used a GoPro, then chances are you're probably familiar with the GoPro effect, which has been turning our amazing descents from riveting to mediocre since 2004. So today I thought I'd show you how to reduce your GoPro footage just a tiny bit, like 5 to 10%. Obviously you can't fix it all because that would be impossible, but you can reduce the effect and make things look a little bit steeper in some editing. So that's today's video, and let's jump into it. Now, if you don't know what the GoPro effect is, it's basically an effect that a wide angle lens like a GoPro has on your footage that flattens everything out and it makes steep things look a lot more level, which obviously isn't the effect you want to portray. And as the field of view gets wider and wider all the way up to super view, you see that flattening happen more and more. So the GoPro effect gets more obvious the wider your field of view is. So obviously we often want to shoot in super view so we can see the entire scene, but that means you're going to have the flattest looking image and the descents are going to look the most mediocre. Because of this negative effect of GoPros, you often see people intersperse drone footage and other camera footage into GoPro edits, so you have those other field of views that make it look how it should look. But even those cameras don't do the best job of making things look super steep, and you really have to be creative with your angles to make it look the best. So obviously a GoPro is the most convenient option because it can be just on your chest or on your head and you just have it ready to go at any time, but because of that, the angle isn't always going to be the best. Okay, so once you have your GoPro footage, you're gonna need to open an editing software. For this example, I'm gonna be using Final Cut Pro, but you can pretty easily use any other editing software. So it's quite simple what we're gonna be doing, but let me show you how I do it. So first up, I just have this sample clip of me mountain biking down a mountain. It's quite a steep trail, but as you can see by the GoPro footage, it doesn't really look that steep. So this footage was shot in super view mode, which means you get a lot of field of view, but it does look quite flat. So I mean, as you can see, it looks pretty good, but not as good as the real thing. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm just gonna pause the clip right here, and basically what we're gonna be doing is changing the scale Y in the transform tab to basically elongate the clip a little bit to make it look steeper. So obviously this is an extreme, but as you can see, as you stretch the top part out, it accentuates everything, makes everything look steeper, makes the trees taller, and it makes it look a bit faster and more intense. But obviously we're gonna be dialing that back quite a lot. So we're back at 100%. As you can see, it looks pretty good, but what I've found is on the scale Y, if you increase that 100% to about 110%, it elongates the footage just enough to make it look a bit more intense and steeper. So if we toggle on and off the transform here, you can see it just pulls out the footage a little bit. So I found elongating the clip actually makes it look a little bit more natural, makes everything have the better proportions, and makes it look a little bit steeper, which obviously is what we're going for here. So as you can see, toggling it on and off, you can see it just stretches out the footage a little bit, makes it look a little bit steeper. Now obviously by doing this, you're gonna be losing a little bit of your footage. So as you can see here, we're losing this top bit and this bottom bit. And this is gonna make your field of view a little bit less and also reduce the quality because you're reducing this and stretching out what's in here. But it's not a huge difference, and I think in most situations it'd be completely fine. And the other good thing about this is you're maintaining the width, so that nice field of view you have from the super view, you're still getting all of that, just losing a bit of the top and bottom. And of course, you can adjust the top and bottom. What I actually like to do is move it down a little bit. And by moving the footage a little bit lower than middle, what you're gonna be getting is a lower horizon line. So as you can see, without this, the horizon is up here. When you turn it on, it brings everything down just a touch. And by doing this, it makes it look steeper. And if you wanna see a really good example of how this is working, you can basically do it in reverse. So we're gonna take the scale Y, pull it past 100% all the way down to like 50%. As you can see here, now it just looks like a completely flat plane of footage. It doesn't look like it has any steepness whatsoever. So as you can see, it works both directions. If you pull it out a lot, it gives you quite a steep look, but it's too distorted to be realistic. Okay, so let's find another example. Here's a shot of skinning up backcountry skiing. As you can see, the slope looks pretty steep, but it's not as steep as it was in real life. And this mountain back here looks pretty squished and not realistic to size. So again, what we're gonna do is go into the scale Y, increase it from 100% to 110%, and that's just gonna elongate everything a little bit. As you can see, this person now is a little bit distorted, but I do think that in super view mode, GoPro kind of squashes the shapes of people anyway, so I think elongating it a little bit makes it honestly look a little bit more realistic. So if we toggle this on and off, basically what you can see it doing is elongating this clip. So as you can see, this line here from this point to this point basically just gets sharper and more steep. So that's basically what we want to do, elongate the clip and make all the angles more sharp and intense, therefore making it look steeper. And as you can see with this mountain over here, if we turn the transform on and off, you can see it getting a little more steeper and realistic. Okay, so here's another example clip, and as you can see on the GoPro just standard, it honestly looks quite steep already because this was such a steep trail. You have this huge drop off on this side, pretty steep on this side, and the trail itself is quite steep going down this direction. So you don't really need to do much here, but again, it doesn't look as steep as it did in real life. So if we go to the scale Y, increase 100 to 110%, you can see it elongate this shot, and if you turn transform on and off, you can see the difference that it makes. It makes this right side fall off seem significantly steeper because it's being lengthened out. So if we turn it off, you can see how flat it is. If you turn it on, you can see it pull it down a bit. In a shot like this, you might be able to change the scale Y even to 115%. That's probably the max I'd go to in any shot just because of distortion and things like that. But if we play this back, you can see how much steeper this looks compared to when it was off. So when you have other people in your footage, like in this shot here, you do have to be a bit more careful with how much you change that scale Y because it is going to distort things a little bit. So if we change it to 115% in this situation, you can see that the people don't exactly look very realistic anymore. So in situations where there's a bunch of people and you see them really close up, I think it's good to keep it under 110%, maybe 105%, where you're still gonna get a little bit of that steepness, but it's not gonna affect the shot that much. So if we play this back now, you really can't tell a difference in the shot, even though it is steepened just a tiny bit. So that's basically it to this GoPro effect reduction. Just bring your footage in, go into your transform tab, change the scale Y to about 110%, and then bring up the footage if you want it to lower that horizon line. So just bring it up a little bit like that. When you play it back, it's gonna look a little bit steeper. And just so you can see the differences, here are some footage tests. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor. Okay, so if you're looking to steepen your GoPro footage, chances are you like making video edits of things like skiing, mountain biking, adventuring, just things like that. And today's video sponsor has the perfect option to up that video production quality of your edits. So Artlist is a royalty-free music site that has super good high-quality music from actual artists that sounds really professional. I honestly think a lot of their music sounds like something you'd hear on Spotify or Apple Music, so really professional in that sense. So if you want to get started using high-quality royalty-free music, click the link in my description and you can get 2 months free on addition to Artlist's music plan. So check it out.
Warrior uppercut, try to hit me in the gut, thinking that I won't react. You whisper in my name, thinking I won't be the same. Turn fiction into fact. See what you didn't know, bruises that I'll never show, slipping on your every jab. So tighten up your fist, step into the ring with this. I hope your mama's got your back. First round, you thought you would've knocked me down. I took a break, you're making a huge mistake, thinking you can take the throne. Look at you trembling, step into the lion's den, bet you wish you stayed at home. Begging for mercy underneath your breath when I ain't even sweating yet, my legend's written in the stone, yeah. You're crying danger in defeat is now your only friend, even your mama's gotta know. First round, you thought you would've knocked me down.
As you can see, the differences weren't super drastic. We just helped to improve that steepness by a factor of about 5%, which will make a difference in your videos and it will make it look a bit steeper, but again, it's not going to solve the entire problem because that's unavoidable. But anyway, that's it for today. If you like this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.